कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लुगु लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, public squabble between SODELPA executives. Police investigate assault video. And seasonal workers told to stay focused.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
Founding member of Social Democratic Liberal Party and a member of the interview panel, Dr. Tupeni Mbamba, has today warned SODELPA against Moses Mbulitavu. Dr. Mbamba has named Mbulitavu as the main culprit in attempts to undermine Rote Mumukepa's leadership in 2014. Alpenisa Wangarandovo reports Mbulitavu has hit back, saying Dr. Mbamba is out for revenge.
Dr. Mbamba says in a 2014 investigation, Mbulitavu was exposed as an instigator who tried to have Rote Mumu removed.
We interview everybody, interview all the members of parliament that had signed the letter. And we identified that Mr. Mbulitavu was the culprit behind it. And we recommended his expulsion from the party. Unfortunately, the party was unable to take that action, which is a pity, and we are awaiting the results of that.
The former politician has spoken out after Mbulitavu attacked the SODELPA interview panel, saying it is unconstitutional. Dr. Mbamba says he is disappointed that Mbulitavu did not attend his interview on Monday, but adds that he had already warned SODELPA to be wary of the MP after he was implicated in the Ngono Vinaka report. He now believes Mbulitavu is behind the grievances submitted to party president Ratu Epenisa Dhakobau last Friday.
Anybody who understands the party from the beginning till now would know that he would be in there. And it's in line with the action that he's taking. And the people of Fiji would know that. And I think we have to draw attention to it.
However, Mbulitavu has shot back, claiming that Dr. Mbamba is pushing his own agenda.
It's a cheap shot by a very seasoned politician. I think he has shed his skin, and also he left SODELPA, came back, and he's trying to be neutral at the same time, exposing himself on other issues. Probably that he's coming back for revenge in terms of trying to displace the current administration.
Mbulitavu claims Dr. Mbamba is on the panel to ensure that MP William Ngavoka becomes SODELPA leader and Asiri Rondro gets appointed deputy.
I think he's been brought in to do a specific task. I think he's been set there to do the elimination and trying to bring in two tag teams that I believe that is behind everything. That is William Ngavoka to become the party leader and Asir Rondro to be deputy party leader.
Dr. Mbamba has rejected all allegations against him. However, the fact that he has spoken against a potential candidate while sitting on a supposedly independent panel may raise questions of fairness. SODELPA's management board meets tomorrow to select a leader and deputy leader based on recommendations by Dr. Mbamba's panel. Apeniso Wangarandovu, FBC News.
The Police Internal Affairs Unit has been directed to investigate the actions of police officers captured in a video that is currently circulating on social media. The video has gone viral on social media and shows two police officers allegedly manhandling two men near a car. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says information is being gathered on where and when the incident took place and the circumstances surrounding claims of police assault. 172 Fijians who left for Australia under the Pacific Labour Scheme have been urged to follow protocols. Bidding farewell to the seasonal workers, Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum called on them to take advantage of the opportunity and help improve their lives. Koroi Tandalala reports that these workers were recruited by the Regional Workforce Management.
The Attorney General says the opportunity for seasonal work will allow these workers to develop their skill sets and learn new ones.
You also will along the way pick up various skill sets that you may not necessarily have the ability to learn those skill sets in Fiji. So again, you're building your own career, you're building your own profession. So be aware of that.
This is the single largest movement of Fijians since flights were grounded and borders closed in March. Heightened security measures were obvious everywhere.
Every country in the world today has its own set of protocols, own set of circumstances. And you're going to different parts of Australia where there may be a different set of circumstances between the different states. So please adhere to that.
Two Fijians who are part of the group that left yesterday have their goals set out and will work towards achieving it.
This kind of time, like it's hard like getting jobs, but within this opportunity, I'm so blessed. I can say I'm so blessed because like I can do things and just buy the bread and put it on top of tables for my family.
Since I'm from Western, where termites, we are affected by termites. Our house has been affected by the termites. I have a goal with my family that I want to go send the money for them so that they can build a concrete house.
Fiji joined the labor scheme in April as part of the Vuvale partnership, and 193 Fijians have already been recruited under the regional workforce to work in the meat industry. Koritandulala, FBC News.
Former soldier Tevita Konawave has been found guilty of murder by the Suva High Court earlier today. The 26-year-old killed his 4-month-old baby last year. The assessors returned with a guilty opinion, and the High Court judge agreed with their opinion and convicted Konawave. The incident happened in Nambour last year when Konawave threw a concrete block at his wife, which instead hit their child. He will be sentenced tomorrow. Violence against women and girls continues to be a major human rights violation in Fiji, according to the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre. From January to October this year, it received 751 domestic violence cases, 67 rape cases, 9 attempted rape cases, 42 child sexual abuse cases, and 39 child abuse cases. Venina Rakautonga has more.
The 16 days of activism organized by FWCC demands action against violence.
While the campaign is ongoing throughout the year, this raises the profile of violence against women. It's a huge problem in this country. We've been listening to all the data. Our survey shows the global data is 1 in 3 women globally suffer from domestic violence.
Fiji Women's Crisis Centre coordinator Shamima Ali says the age of some of the victims of violence and sexual abuse is shocking.
We hear about it every day, the rape of young people, very, very young. Today I said a 4-month-old child. That's the known case to the Fiji Police Force. That was only 2 years ago. I'm not talking about 10 years ago or something like that. And then you've got everyone, 5 months, 6 months, 10 months, 12 months.
Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has also shared his lament, highlighting that 10 women were killed by their intimate partners last year.
It's me to say that 2 of every 3 women in Fiji have experienced physical or sexual violence from a male intimate partner in their lifetime. 1 in 5 women have experienced sexual harassment in a workplace. 1 in 3 women in Fiji have experienced physical or sexual violence from a man who is not their partner.
The 16 days of activism ends on 10th December, marking International Human Rights Day. Venina Rakautonga, FBC News.
Major Semi Tokondoandoa, one of the pioneers of the Republic of the Fiji Military Forces Engineers Regiment, was amongst the 31 Fijians bestowed the Fiji 50 commemorative medals at State House this morning. Tokondoandoa says being recognized for 37 years of service is an honor. Sainian Imboila reports the former major now runs his own garment factory.
Major Semi Tokondoandoa.
Major Tokondoandoa, who came through ranks to reach the commanding officer position, says his service until 2006 was a challenge when his wife passed away.
I was second command for the Engineer Regiment, and I was fortunate to be picked or selected to be the commanding officer for the engineers during that hard times of 2006. So I came through and managed to go through with the challenge of looking after my kids.
Superintendent of Police Mesake Sobosobo, who looks after the whole Suva community, also received a medal.
I know out of the many people in Fiji who has done Fiji proud, working for their own people and their country, and to be chosen to be one of them is something that I will always remember for the rest of my life.
Local artist Georgina Lendua was recognized for her contribution to Fiji's performing arts industry.
So excited, I am so honored. I'd like to thank all my friends, my family, for supporting me all the way. Thank God for everything. Without him, I wouldn't be here.
Other medal recipients include Major Israeli Dataka, Mahendra Dahia, Lieutenant Colonel Mason Smith, and Vijay Ragwan. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
And coming up after the break, Fiji and China commemorate diplomatic relations.
मैं तो दिल्ली में रहता हूँ और रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
The Fiji Rugby Union has filed out a strikeout application against former Naita Siri under-19 Lokiresi Maya, who is claiming that processes were not followed when he was handed a 6-year ban from all levels of rugby. Maya allegedly punched referee Penny Talimai Vavalangi during the under-19 match between Naita Siri and Tailevo on August 29th. He was also charged by police with 1 count of assault causing actual bodily harm. Praneet Prakash with the details.
Keresi Maya is claiming that judicial proceedings in September and a sanction breached various sections of the FRU Skipper Cup and Fairbrother Challenge terms of participation. He claims there was no properly accredited or qualified citing commissioner for the match. Maya, in his originating summon, claims that under the terms of participation, judicial decisions are to be made by the tournament director, and a player who is dissatisfied has the right to appeal, heard by a World Rugby accredited judicial officer. He claims that in his case, the FRU conducted the hearing before the judicial officer, who only has the jurisdiction to hear appeals. Maya is also claiming that the defendant breached the terms of participation as the citing commission failed to cite him within 6 hours of the match and failed to supply the report to the match commissioner and the Naita Siri under-19 team manager. He further claims that the FRU breached the terms of participation, which lays out the powers of a judicial officer to only hear appeals against the tournament director's decision or sanction. The 19-year-old argues the judicial officer did not have the authority or the jurisdiction to adjudicate in the hearing held on 3rd September at the Fiji Sports Commission, and consequently, the hearing and the sanction are null and void. The matter has been adjourned to the 20th of January next year for a hearing on the strikeout application. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Major development will be happening in Number Wallumbor soon as part of the government's plans for a new town. Minister for Local Government Pramila Kumar says there will be a new market, a new passenger terminal for boat and ferry passengers, and a car park. Eleanor Tarangaivu has more.
Good news for Number Wallu market vendors. The Ministry of Local Government will soon start construction of a bigger and better market.
We intend to start the work for relocation of this market to the other side, a new market with all proper facility and much bigger market. So we'll have a market for produce as well as seafood. And so forth.
The current Number Wallu market has been in existence for decades, serving the people of Boa and ferry passengers who travel between Vanuatu and Vitilevu. After the relocation of vendors to the new market, it will be pulled down.
We have a proper passenger terminal waiting area. In that, we will have 2 other restaurants. We will have the police post and so forth.
The Ministry of Local Government will also work with the Fiji Roads Authority on creating parking spaces to cater for the increasing number of vehicles that use the Number Wallu port.
We will be talking to FRA to understand the widening of the road and how much space we will have to put up the car park.
The Ministry of Local Government is also working with the Itoke Land Trust Board on reclaiming the foreshore area to create more space for development. Eleanor Tarangaivu, FBC News.
The Minister for Education has launched commemorative stamps to mark the 45th anniversary of Fiji-China diplomatic relations. Rosie Akbar says Fiji and China have endured beneficial and progressive bilateral cooperation over the past 45 years and hopes it will continue to thrive. The Chinese ambassador to Fiji says the two countries have enjoyed a long history of trade, education and cultural exchanges.
Geographically, we are thousands and thousands of miles away from each other, but Fiji remains a home to the thousands of Chinese who have made Fiji their home over the last 45 years.
Fiji is the first Pacific island country to forge diplomatic relations with China. Over the past 45 years, under the care and guidance of leaders of both countries, and with the joint efforts of the governments and people of China and Fiji, China-Fiji relations have been developing steadily.
And turning overseas, daily COVID-19 deaths are soaring in the United States, reaching more than 2,000. Adding fuel to the fire, millions of Americans are traveling for the holidays.
As American families head into an unusual Thanksgiving holiday amid a surging pandemic, President-elect Joe Biden with a message of gratitude and unity.
So yes, it's been a really hard year, particularly hard for over 250,000 people and their families. But I still believe we have much to be thankful for.
As of today, the coronavirus has killed more than 260,000 Americans and continues its unrelenting damage across the country. The president-elect using his speech to empathize with families sitting down at dinner tables this Thanksgiving filled with grief.
For those who have lost a loved one, I know that this time of year can be especially difficult. Believe me.
3 days since his formal transition began, the Biden team is now in contact with every federal agency. Transition spokesperson Jen Psaki adding the president-elect is preparing for his first classified presidential daily briefing.
We expect the first briefing to take place on Monday.
Though Biden and the president have yet to speak, Trump administration officials are so far cooperating with the transition. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox News.
We'll do everything that's required by law. We'll make this work.
Meantime, the president with no public events on his agenda, instead sending his attorneys to Pennsylvania to discuss the election with GOP state lawmakers. Trump himself speaking by phone, making unsubstantiated claims about election fraud. It comes a day after the state certified its election results for Biden. Rudy Giuliani, whose close associate tested positive for COVID-19 just this morning, also at the meeting.
We don't want to disenfranchise anyone. We want to disqualify 682,000 votes.
And Ampanisa joins us now with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up, UN to help Nandi workers. And in growing Fiji, new restaurant creates jobs. Stay with us.
Pula nadango aproslan garse ngor kraki do televe on varong na Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1 nandomo ibiti.
To increase awareness and service delivery, the United Nations Fiji has planned a community day in Nandi. Resident coordinator Sanaka Samorshina says as the region hit the hardest by the impacts of COVID-19, they plan to provide services, awareness and advocacy to people of Nandi who have been affected. Samorshina says the two-day event will offer support to redundant workers affected by COVID-19 via business development services and skills development. The UN is working in partnership with the government of Fiji and various ministries.
Started thinking about how to bring to some sort of a closure this year-long series of events to mark the 75th anniversary. We thought it quite appropriate that we focus on the region that's hardest hit by COVID-19 in Fiji.
Economic impacts have been devastating, and in particular our western side, Nandi, has been severely affected. This community day that you have planned was very well thought, and I thank you for that.
Sharon from HFC Bank joins us now with the latest from the money market.
The Aussie and Kiwi dollars posed to digest recent gains as a holiday in US thinned market liquidity. So far this month, the Australian dollar rose 4.9% to reach a 3-month top, while the Kiwi dollar reached its highest since June 2018 after surging almost 6%. On the data front, New Zealand has posted its biggest annual trade surplus in 28 years as COVID-19 led to a sharp fall in imports. Official data show a surplus of $2.2 billion for the year ended October, the biggest since July 1992. Their imports noted a 10% slump during the period, especially in fuel and cars. Elsewhere, the US dollar was down 0.09% to its lowest level in more than 2 months. Although their third quarter GDP numbers released today showed the economy did fairly well, growing at an annual 33.1% rate, their weekly jobless claims rose more than expected. And that's all from HFC Bank for now. Finaka.
Here are the local exchange rates as at early this morning. The Fiji dollar rose against major foreign currencies such as the US greenback, Aussie dollar, Kiwi and the yen, but it slipped slightly versus the Chinese yuan, Kiwi dollar and the euro. Looking at the commodities market, oil prices continued to rise, now at $46 a barrel. Gold held steady to $1,808 per ounce and silver closed up at $23.44 per ounce. A new restaurant called Grills in Lautala Bay, Suva, has provided 25 Fijians with employment opportunities. Managing Director Vimal Kumar says these new employees have been without jobs since COVID-19 hit earlier this year. He adds the restaurant is an $800,000 investment and aims to bring a taste of Portuguese cuisine to the local food business.
The 6 experienced ones, the other 19 or 20 we have, they come from all sorts of industries. We've got some IT background people who are working in the kitchen. We've got some construction workers who are in the kitchen. So because they were unemployed, we just took them on board, went through vigorous training, converted their profession to hospitality, and then that's now the 25, 26 people I have.
That's all from Business Tonight. Kara joins us now with the latest from sports.
Thanks, Apenisa. Good evening. And in sports tonight, new mix of players in Fiji's 7th squad, and Nandi on track for Fiji FAC title defense. This and more coming up.
कुमार साहब नायक है गोमगो लेबू लटो का रेडियो फीजी 2 में
Fiji national men's 7th head coach Gareth Baber is building a formidable team for the new season and the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games. The Fijian 7th training squad has kept a low profile, with Baber putting together a mix of players who have made their mark in the local rugby arena.
Making a return is Olympian Kitione Talinga, while the coaching panel has included Chone Manu, Taniela Sandrumu, Kamnieli Rasaku, Vinaya Hambosi and Onisi Natave. All standout players for the Skipper Cup and Mari Sevens.
The majority of them are from Skipper. There's 1 or 2 that have played in domestic Sevens competitions, notably they who has been playing for Damo Damo. They've been going very well, and you know, I'm still looking at all the tournaments that we play over the coming months. For any other potential players that can show that level of consistency in Sevens format.
Baber believes these players have shown the consistency and attitude to take the team to the next level.
I think the reason why I saw consistency in the players that have been selected is because they were probably some of those fitter boys playing Skipper. Not only did they remain injury-free because of that fitness and the way they look after themselves, but they were able to consistently put those performances in, and that comes down to a basic level of having quality in your fitness.
For Levi Kanikonda, one of the senior players in the squad, securing a spot is easier said than done.
Yes, after my injury, it's been a tough time for me to come back to join the boys since last year. And it's not easy. There's a lot of new boys coming into the position that we have. They give us pressure and they give us a lot of competition.
The Fiji Beta Wariki Sevens tournament in Taveuni, Combat Ulinakau Sevens and the Fiji Beta Mokani tournament next month will argue well for preparations.
The Flying Fijians players in France have been urged to keep working and training as discussions continue on their final Autumn Nations match against Georgia. Fiji Rugby Union HPU manager Simon Rawa-Louis says the players were disappointed having to go into quarantine, forcing their final matches against France, Italy and Scotland to be cancelled. He says the players are encouraged to keep their momentum despite the uncertainty around the match being held.
Preparation with the new coaching staff, the younger players coming through, the senior players. So it's something that is going to be they're going to enjoy once they come out, get back on the field, preparing and hopefully getting that match against Georgia.
Ezekiel Nandi has qualified for the Vodafone Fiji FAC semi-final, defeating Active Construction Navua 4-1 at Subrail Park in Lambasa today. The loss also rules Navua out of the competition. Talema Terakula with more.
Cooling off at the Lambasa River following their mud bath at Subrail Park, the Nandi players enjoying their time after qualifying for the semi-final.
It's good that we have got a victory to have 6 points.
Avineshwaran Swami, who was rested yesterday, scored 2 goals today, and the Nandi coach says the veteran midfielder's presence lifted the side.
Yesterday it was raining and we knew about Warren. He came back from injury, so we just wanted to keep him safe. And I think we made the right move, and today he showed what he is, and he has given a lot of support to the strikers plus midfielders. Plus he talks a lot in the field, guiding the boys, which is good for us. So I think he has changed the team today.
Goalkeeper Vereti Dixon believes they were fortunate to get the win under the unfavorable ground conditions.
Still the same from yesterday and today. Ground is really hard. We can play football on it.
The Jet Setters' semi-final opponent will be known after tonight's final game. Talema Terakula, FBC Sports.
The Food City Ash Carts and Styles Railway side is the second team to qualify for the Vodafone Fiji FAC semi-final. The Delta Tigers defeated Prasad Maintenance Works Nasinu 7-0 in the last group match. Setareki Hughes netted a double while Franz Katarongo, Bruce Hughes, Selosi Rayangona, Simeone Taminisao and Shavnil Prasad also got onto the score sheet. The game was also Nasinu's last in the Premier Division this season, as they will feature in the Senior League next year.
We've grown from game 1 to now, 12 goals, 1 against. But it's just for me, overall season has been good. Whatever we achieve now, from now on, it's just the cream on the cake. So we have enjoyed it. I think I cannot demand more from the boys, but the boys are trying their best to give their best in this condition.
Improving its Pacific ranking is the main focus for Taj Fiji Federation. Taj Fiji is currently ranked 3rd after scooping the bronze medal in the 2019 Pacific Games. President Devi Tamau says they are beginning the groundwork on this by establishing a high-level competition for its elite players in preparation for the 2023 Pacific Games.
Last year, after the Pacific Games, Fiji was number 3. We won bronze. We want to see some changes to that come 2023, and for us the work has started in terms of trying to review that ranking that is in place. So having a high-level competition for the elite is something very critical for us in this journey.
World soccer great Diego Armando Maradona, who died today less than a month after his 60th birthday. He was worshipped like a god for the genius with the ball, but his demons almost destroyed him. More in this report. In the play of the day, a fine all-round display from England's Nat Skivers held Melbourne Stars to a place in the Women's Big Bash final with a dominant semi-final victory over Perth Scorchers. Here we look at Skivers' 47 not out after having earlier picked up 1 for 27. That's it from Sports Tonight. Coming up, new technology used for COVID-19 safe stadiums. Details after the break.
Baik tu dia jadi biar tahu रेडियो फिजी बहुत रेडियो फिजी रोज सुनता हूँ.
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
And in weather, showers and thunderstorms was experienced over the interior of the larger islands. Cloudy conditions with afternoon and evening showers and isolated thunderstorms were experienced elsewhere. Quick look at the weather map in the west. Cloudy periods with afternoon or evening showers and isolated thunderstorms. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, more of the same cloudy periods, showers and isolated thunderstorms. And up north, again with the cloudy periods, with afternoon and evening showers and more isolated thunderstorms. At sea, east to northeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. And turning to the tides, the next high tide is at 4:54 a.m. with low tide at 10:42 tomorrow, followed by high tide at 4:41 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:20. The outlook for tomorrow is a low-pressure trough to the north is expected to bring rain and possible thunderstorms to northern Vanua Levu and Taveuni. Viti Levu can expect scattered showers in the east and a generally sunny day in the west with temperatures in the high 20s. And further on to Friday, cloudy with showers, heavy at times and possible thunderstorms. And in Fijian Pulse, we asked, do you think enough is being done to prevent violence against women and girls?
I think more should be done because our number is very high.
We need more stringent measures to address the growing numbers of domestic violence against women in our country.
More should be done, and violence supposed to be no. No, that's it.
Domestic violence needs to be addressed, and I believe more needs to be done to help curb this issue.
A vending machine in Ukraine has been reinvented to provide stray animals in the city with food. Locals drop off plastic for recycling and receive food for animals. More in the world of the weird and the wonderful. Recapping the main stories for tonight, war of words erupt between Dr. Tupeni Bamba and MP Moses Mbulitavu. Video shows physical altercation between police and civilians. And father guilty of murdering 4-month-old baby. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. Our poll question we're asking, should there be criminal charges on teachers using corporal punishment? Visit our FBC website to answer. And on to our shot of the day. This sunset was taken yesterday on Naisoso Island by Bob Lois and the developer of Naisoso Island. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos to email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News and our Twitter page at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow from the team and I, stay safe. Bye for now.
कुमार स्वामी नायक है गोंगवा लेबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।